Sacrifice of animals were not able to sanctify man. For the man to be sanctified, sin must be taken away. The blood of animals could not do that. The blood of animals were just for atoning, that is covering. They were covering the sin of man for a year so that God does not see that sin. He sees the blood of the animal that has been sacrificed. But that was not the plan God had for man. God had a plan for the man to be totally sanctified. Jesus came as the ultimate sacrifice. He took over the nature of the human being to cleanse him from sin, to take away the sin. It is only man who could take away the sin of fellow human, not animals. And so, when Jesus came, he took over himself the whole nature in the three faces of man, so that he can take away the sin of mankind. So Jesus took on himself the body, the soul, and also the spirit of man to do the work for him in his state. That by feeding on animals, mankind became like animals. And so it was a must for us to feed on someone else, for us to be like him. And therefore, when Jesus comes into the world, he gives us permission to feed on himself. Feeding on Jesus brings Jesus into you. Or whatever you feed on goes into you, into your system. And so, feeding on Jesus causes Jesus to be in you. Many people do not feed on Jesus. And Jesus says, unless you eat the flesh of man, of the Son of Man, and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Resurrection, the body of Jesus becomes the bread of life. The soul of Jesus becomes the drink of life. The spirit of Jesus becomes a life-giving spirit. The three faces of man are filled with the holy nature of Jesus after one feeds on Jesus. So all the three natures are supposed to be filled with Christ, the body, the soul, the spirit of man. Both must be filled with Jesus. This happens when you feed on Jesus Christ. You feed on the body of Jesus and drink his blood, that you are born again. You are born from a goat, you are born into a sheep. That is, from the body, you are born into the spirit. You don't become flesh-led, you become spirit-led, because you are born into the spirit. You become a sheep, a lamb from a goat, just like Jesus what happened to Jesus from birth to crucifixion to resurrection becomes your part. You become exactly like him on feeding on Jesus Christ. So the sacrifice is no longer about atoning for sin. It is about taking away sins. When you feed on Jesus, the nature of sin dies from your being. You are born again. That nature of sin is destroyed by the power of the bread of life, the drink of life, and the life-giving Spirit. Completely hacks to death the nature of sin in you. But that happens if you bear your cross and follow Jesus every day. If you make Jesus your supreme leader, the supreme ruler, the master of your life, the Lord over your life, then the power of Jesus occupies your being. That is when you are changed from a sinful man to a child of God. The sacrifice has already been given, the ultimate sacrifice. And therefore no other sacrifice can be given after Jesus has become the ultimate sacrifice. Anyone who offers sacrifices and sheds blood, he is negating the blood of Jesus. That person is despising the ultimate sacrifice. There is no other sacrifice other than the sacrifice of Jesus Christ